supply that need in our community. And I'm praying at this time. I can remember the last time we prayed, we had a meeting at the school, and I prayed on the behalf of that wall. Now I am praying again, and I'm looking forward that my prayers will be answered this time. Thank you for it started. Now we are asking for completion. Whatever the need may be, whatever the means may be, we are praying, Lord, that it will be successful. Thank you for it, Lord. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Please be seated, and we thank Pastor Jerome Edwards for leading us in prayer. We acknowledge Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, Honorable Fidel Grant, Minister for Public Works and the Digital Economy, Honorable Darren Pinard, Minister of State in the Ministry of Labor, other honorable members of Cabinet, Mr. Emil Lancelot, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Public Works and the Digital Economy, other permanent secretaries, Mr. Monison Rudet, Contractor, Ms. Wiesel Philogen, the Chairperson of the Colihaut Village Council, Mr. Eli George, Pastor Jerome Edwards, who just led us in prayer, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I would say welcome to Colihaut, but many of you are from here. So welcome to this contract signing ceremony for the Colihaut River Defense Wall. And we begin this afternoon with welcome remarks from Ms. Wiesel Philogen. She's the chairperson of the Colihaut Village Council, and she will now address us.
Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, Honorable Fidel Grant, Minister for Public Works and the Digital Economy, Honorable Darren Pinard, Minister of State in the Ministry of Labor, Public Sector Reform, Social Partnership, Entrepreneurship and Small Business Development, with specific responsibilities for entrepreneurship and small business development. Other Honorable Ministers of Cabinet, Mr. Karin Privo, Secretary to the Cabinet, Mr. Emil Lancelot, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Public Works and the Digital Economy, Mr. Monison Rudet, Contractor, Mr. Eli George, Pastor Jerome Edwards, Mistress Dion Duran-Smith, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. As we gather here today, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the weight that some of us carry in our hearts. The memories of storms past, fears of storms present, and the uncertainty of what the future may hold. I know how stressful and unsettling it must be to live near a river during hurricane season, especially in a vulnerable place like Colihaut. The unpredictability of natural disasters can be truly overwhelming. We have seen the devastating impact they can have, the displacement, the destruction, and the loss. But even in the face of such adversity, we've also seen the resilience of our community, the strength of our spirits, and the power of collective efforts. This represents more than just ink on paper. It embodies our resilience and belief in the potential of our society to overcome challenges. Today, as we come together to finalize this commitment, the contract signing ceremony for the continuation of the Colihaut River Wall, we as villagers would really appreciate it if this project is completed and seen through to the end. I am optimistic about what lies ahead and confident that this will not go unrecognized and underappreciated and will really serve a great purpose. This represents hope, hope for advancement, creativity, and a safe and secure future for the villagers of Colihaut. Thank you so much for your presence here today. Let us move forward, united in purpose, as we embark on this new journey. Once again, welcome to this momentous occasion. Thank you.
Well, thanks to Ms. Philogen for her remarks. I'm sure you'll agree she provided good context, pointing to the significance of the projects for the villagers of Colihaut. And we do agree that it is an important project for this community. So to put it all into further context, we call on the parliamentary representative for the Colihaut constituency, Honorable Darren Pinar.
The Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, the Honorable Fidel Grant, the Minister of Public Works and the Digital Economy, other Honorable Members of Cabinet, Ms. Karen Prevost, Secretary to the Cabinet, Mr. Emil Lancelot, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Public Works and the Digital Economy, other Permanent Secretaries, Mr. Monson Rudet, Contractor, Ms. Wiesel Philogen, I'm the Chair of the Colihaut Village Council, Mr. Eli George, Pastor Jerome Edwards, Ms. Dion Duran-Smith, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, everyone. It is indeed a grand occasion that brings us here this afternoon to witness the contract signing ceremony for the eagerly awaited continuation of the Colihaut River Defense Wall. The project we are undertaking will include the demolition and removal of sections of the existing damaged stone wall and replacing it with this new wall, specifically in the areas east of Zetma, the bridge on the highway in this next phase. This is indeed a bittersweet aspect of the project. Whilst we recognize that the old wall is no longer capable, many of us remember running at full speed, I might add, on top this wall as kids. The danger of a misstep and serious injury was totally lost to us. Back in those days, the regular river flow was considerably larger and more consistent than it is today. Whether a dry, hot day or a rainy day, there was not much change to the river level. Indeed, it took a lot of heavy rains to swell the river to the point where, in our local parlance, we would say the river coming down. But regardless of how much it came down, it stayed within the confines of the existing smaller stone wall. Never as a child or even as a young man can I recall the river overflowing its bank into the village even during storms and hurricanes. Nowadays, any little defined system, or what we will call a tropical wave, results in the river overflowing the stone wall and getting into people's homes. That, my friend, is the result of climate change. Climate change has led to stronger hurricanes, drier, hotter and longer droughts that have destroyed a large percentage of the trees and the water catchment areas in Dominica. This has led to soil erosion and also limited the soil's ability to absorb water. So instead of the soil acting like a sponge, where it captures the rainfall and it allows a steady flow and a consistent release of water, the soil now acts more like a strainer that have big holes. So the water just passing through it. So when the river comes down, it is bigger and it is stronger than it used to be in the past. As you can well imagine, the diminishing soil properties have significant implications beyond the destruction of our plants, rivers and wildlife. We saw the devastating impacts of climate change during the passage of both Tropical Storm Erika and Hurricane Maria, where we lost entire villages to landslides. Villages that had existed for centuries. And the need to relocate large amounts of homes have continued beyond Hurricane Maria, such as following the 2022 landslides on the East Coast, where once more large amounts of homes are to be relocated. This morning, 7 contracts for road edge rehabilitation was signed, totaling $5.8 million, one of which is in the community of Biosh in our constituency. All these are in response to the devastating impact of climate change. We have not even quantified the impact of our agriculture on our agriculture infrastructure. There is now a greater need for costly irrigation systems to support our farms. We must now incorporate more modern structures and technology to continue and expand agriculture to allow it to maintain the impact and the prominence that existed in the 1980s. Obviously, we can go on to show the impact on our wildlife, the reduction in fishes and the rivers, birds and others, all being negatively impacted by the effects of climate change. And then there is also the impact from the sea. With every system, the sea now gets into people's homes in a way never seen before. As a result, places that were once habitable are no longer safe. That also has significant cost implications as the government now bears the financial burden of relocating families away from homes that have been occupied for generations. And it is for this reason we as a government echo the call of our President, Her Excellency Sylvanie Burton, at her UN General Assembly address on September 25th, where she made the urgent call for climate justice, where the instigators are made to compensate countries such as ours who are bearing the burden of the cost of climate change, which is not of our making. Here in Colihaut, during the passage of Tropical Storm Erika and Hurricane Maria, we experienced flooding to a majority of homes in the village basin. Some homes were destroyed beyond repair. A 2-story concrete structure was catapulted into the riverbed. Another 2-story structure that lay directly beyond it disappeared, never to be seen again. And it is for these reasons the government undertook the construction of Phase 1 of the river defense wall. Admittedly, Phase 1 has served us remarkably well thus far. The wall was very well constructed and subsequently provided good protection from the raging river, thanks to the incredible work done by the contractor Monson Rudet. And he was a subcontractor, I might add, in that case. And it is for the excellent work that he did in Phase 1 that he is now contracted as the main contractor for the continuing phase. However, the need for the continuation of the river defense wall was evident, for the river continues to overflow the areas that was not protected by the new wall, and gave dangerous warnings of even greater disaster if the wall protection is not immediately extended. So now we are left with no choice but to build this bigger, expensive wall to protect us from the river. The construction of this wall, this phase, will cost us $898,000, and it is being funded through a grant received from the People's Republic of China. On behalf of the people of Colihaut, I ask Ambassador Shu Muming to please relay our deepest thanks and gratitude to his government for this generous and much needed assistance. China has been and once again proves that it is indeed a true friend to us all in Dominica. We also wish to profoundly thank the Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit for negotiating this gift on his last visit to the People's Republic of China. It was indeed divine inspiration that led the Prime Minister to establish diplomatic relations with the PRC merely months after becoming the Prime Minister of this country. In Dominica, we are truly blessed to be led by such an inspirational and visionary leader as our Honorable Prime Minister Skerrit. And his presence here this afternoon on this little playing field in this little village shows how much he cares about the well-being of all his citizens. There is so much work to be done. There are so many big things happening. The Prime Minister could have taken the afternoon to tour the sites of the international airport that is under construction. He could have visited the cable car up in Loda. He could have gone to the site of the new marina being built in Portsmouth. So many alternatives. This signing ceremony could have taken place at the Financial Center in Rosewood this morning, along with the other 7 projects that were signed. Yet, the Prime Minister chose to be here with us in Colihaut this afternoon for this very important occasion, because he knows how much it means to us, and therefore it also means a lot to him by extension. I wish to recognize and thank Honorable Grant, P.S. Lancelot, and the technical team within the Ministry of Public Works. Over the past few months, you visited us regularly to ensure that the design of the wall was fit for purpose, and so we thank you for the work you have done so far and that you will continue to do. My lovely people of Colihaut, today is a good day for us. We know now the next hurricane, that in the next hurricane season we will be a bit safer and we will sleep more peacefully in our homes, in our beds, with the knowledge that the river wall is here protecting us. Thanks everyone for coming out to show your support, and thanks to our Prime Minister, the government of Dominica, and the People's Republic of China for our wall. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks to Honorable Pinard for such a comprehensive overview, for his personal anecdotes, and for his explanation of the threats associated with the river and the importance of the construction of the river defense wall. At this point, we invite the Minister with responsibility for Public Works, Honorable Fidel Grant, to address us.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me recognize the presence of Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, Honorable Darren Pinard, Parliamentary Representative for the Colihaut constituency and Minister of State in the Ministry of Labour. Let me also recognize my ministerial colleague, Honorable Shakira Lockhart-Hippolyte, my other ministerial colleagues who are present, Honorable Lloyd, Honorable Pemberton, Honorable George. Let me also recognize the former parliamentary representative of the Colihaut constituency, Lady Catherine Daniel. The contractor, Mr. Rudette, chairperson of the Colihaut Village Council, Ms. Philogen, Mr. Ellie George, Pastor Jerome Edwards, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are here in Colihaut for this contract signing ceremony, an intervention which is very important to the residents of Colihaut and all Dominicans who have an interest in this community. This river defense wall is more than brick and mortar. It is an investment in building resilience, protecting lives and protecting property, as well as your livelihoods. The opponents of this government have asked, why are we making a huge deal about this event? I am not surprised, because these people do not understand the very fabric of our communities. They do not appreciate what it takes to run and manage a country at a time like this. But we in this Labour Party administration, we understand what it takes. You, the people of Colihaut, understand that this restoration of this wall will make you feel safe when it rains. The fear of your land or your home being washed away is no more. You will feel safe and more confident when you drive and sleep in your homes. This project is awarded to a local contractor, Mr. Monson Rudette. It is in the amount of $897,669.50. We anticipate once the weather holds up and all else is in order, work should be completed within 90 days. The work entails the preparation of the construction site, including river works, demolition of the existing 70-meter long by 4.5 meters high stone rubber wall, and the construction of a new 70-meter long, 4.5 meters high reinforced concrete wall which will be replaced the damaged wall. This intervention will secure the embankment and protect the village from future flood and related risk. All the other projects ongoing in the country during this time, we urge our young men to get employed. Of course, we would all agree that this is a result of all the activity which is going on in this country at this very moment. We point to the international airport, the marina, the cable car, and all the other large infrastructure projects that is creating employment for our young people. I urge a contractor to ensure that all your workers are wearing protective gear and all the necessary precautions and signage are in place to protect the villagers and commuters during construction. At this time, I would like to express my gratitude to the staff of the Technical Services Division and the administrative staff P.S. Lancelot and Mrs. John for their efforts during the course of this week. In closing, I want to remind us that these challenging economic times across the world, governments are forced to make tough decisions. So I urge you not to just see this as a war, but to receive this intervention from your government as a commitment and interest in the people of this community. The demonstration of love for this community is unmatched. We are leaving no community behind. We continue to build a safer Colihaut for generations to come. Thank you for your presence here this afternoon, and God richly bless you.
Thank you to Honorable Grant for his remarks this afternoon, and of course for the leadership he has provided on this project and the several other infrastructural projects ongoing across our country and those about to take off. Honorable Grant, thank you so much. So we are indeed pleased that the Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit is here with us this afternoon in Colihaut, and at this moment I would like to invite him to address us. Please welcome Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit.
Thank you very much. Let me say good afternoon to all of you. I'm very happy to be here. Let me first of all recognize Honorable Fidel Grant, our Minister of Public Works, our Pal Rep, Honorable Darren Pinard, my cabinet colleagues present, our former Pal Rep, Lady D, Miss Wiesel Philogen, the chairperson, Wiesel, okay, yeah, Wiesel, chairperson of the Village Council. Let me also recognize Mr. Emil Lancelot, the permanent secretary, my friend Pastor Philogen, our contractor, Pastor Edwards, yeah, Pastor Edwards, and all of you, the wonderful residents of Colihaut. I am very happy to be here this afternoon. I know we have done many sections of the wall over the last years post-Maria, and we recognize that in the last system we had, it compromised eventually that section in the vicinity of Zetma's shop, and therefore we have decided to come here in quick fashion to have this section done. I also know that we have to do some work in the vicinity of Pastor's house, and I think that's the next step we will come back to do once that section by Zetma is completed. We have decided to give priority to that section because it takes from the top of the community and come down, and so once that is done, we will come back to do that final phase to complete the safety of the residents of the village of Colihaut. But as the power indicated, we all appreciate why all these things are happening. And if you realize, since we came into government, we've almost had to build sea defense walls from Scottshead to Capuchin, because the sea is coming more and more into land. And you also recognize that rivers which never overflow in the banks, when it rains, it affects the banks. I mean, gone are the days when rain would fall for weeks in Dominica, and all we will see is that the sea is brown. But now, the moment rain falls, a little rain falls, there is flooding in Dominica. It is as a result of climate change. And we in Dominica have had our fair share of the impact of climate change through many natural disasters. We can speak about 2005, 2007, 2010, 2013, 2015, 2017, 2022, and of course 2024, where we had the impact of Beryl, the surge, which caused damage to some of the roadways, including the Bayfront, where we just had to spend over $2.5 million to resurface the Bayfront to ensure greater access for the cruise visitors and of course for the residents and citizens of Dominica. And of course, on top of these natural disasters, we've had the financial crisis during that time, from 2008 to 2013, and COVID-19 from 2022 to 2020 to 2022. And of course, the Russia-Ukraine war, the conflict affecting the price of goods and services the world over. And so we are happy to be here this afternoon to be able and be in a position to sign a contract for the construction of this much needed wall for the residents of Colihaut. And as the partner indicated, we wanted to come here because we understand how important it is to you. And I wanted to come to you myself as Prime Minister to say to you that we will always respond to your concerns that you have. Sometimes it may take a little longer, but we all have families. You may have money set aside, something happens in the family that you have to spend the money to address it. And we thank God that we have friends like the People's Republic of China who have been so gracious to give us these resources so that we can come here to sign the contract for the construction of this much needed wall. So we give God thanks for that. And as you indicated, we signed some 7 contracts this morning for retaining walls, for water crossings, because water crossings are compromised, because we have heavier equipment on the roads these days. We have more water flowing in those waterways these days, and therefore we have to build the crossings more resilient, in a more resilient fashion. And of course, once you have to build it in a more resilient fashion, it will always cost you a little more than what you will have spent otherwise. So one can appreciate the tremendous cost of public infrastructure in Dominica. And so we're committed to this. And notwithstanding all of the challenges that they're going through in this world, there are a number of big things that we're doing for Dominica. And I want us in Colihaut to understand that even if the international airport is located in Wesley, it's going to impact us here positively in Colihaut. Because the more people who are going to come into Dominica, is more people you will see coming to Colihaut. Coming to spend the US, coming to spend the euro, coming to spend the pounds, because you create economic activity when money comes from outside and mix with what you have inside. And more people coming, the more spend they will have. Farmers will sell more produce because there will be more people to feed. Fishermen will sell more fish because there's more fish to consume. And so we have to start positioning ourselves and appreciating that that international airport is going to help propel Dominica to a higher level. Because just with the extension of the runway at Douglas Charles, just with the introduction of night landing at the airport, we have seen direct flights from Miami. And there are people in your position who everything you do in this country, they criticize. But people who criticize everything you do are people who don't appreciate people. You understand? People who don't appreciate people. People who don't care about people. And so this is what they're about. But as a result of the extension of the runway, we're now going to have a direct flight from New Jersey to Dominica. And I said at the ceremony this morning that just with Douglas Charles, with all its limitations, we're already having direct flights from North America. With the construction and completion of the international airport, we'll not only have direct flights from Europe and North America, we will have direct flights from China and elsewhere once we build this airport. Because Dominica is a sought-after destination. But our challenge has always been air access. And we've always said to Dominicans that we're going to address the issue of air access in Dominica on a gradual basis. So the introduction of lights at Douglas Charles was a medium-term strategy. The longer-term strategy of addressing air access is the international airport. And we're inviting all of you to be part of the official groundbreaking ceremony that will take place on November 9 on site of the international airport. And we've delayed the groundbreaking because, human beings generally subscribe to the doctrine of St. Thomas, seeing is believing. And because all governments in our history had spoken about this international airport and nobody did it, you will always have skepticism. So I wanted the airport to start, and I wanted to see the alignment of the runway before we broke ground. And by the grace of God, we are now seeing the alignment of the runway, and we're ready to break ground in Dominica. And the reality is, when we make a promise, we do keep it. We don't make joke when it comes to making our promises and keeping them. And so we have an issue here also, that all of us in Dominica, irrespective of our political persuasion, because I say to people, I'm a Dominican, I live in Dominica, I will live the rest of my life in Dominica. But Dominica belongs to all of us. When COVID came, it affected every family in Dominica. When Hurricane Maria came, it affected every family in Dominica. And so whatever happens to Dominica will impact every one of us in Dominica. And what the United Workers' Party is seeking to do, with seeking to destroy the CBI, is something that every right, conscious, God-fearing Dominican should condemn, and condemn very strongly. Because what this means, if these guys were to be successful with what they're seeking to do to end the CBI, it will have a serious negative impact on the way of life of every single citizen in Dominica. In the last 5 years, we spent $298 million. You heard me? $298 million on the NEP program. Monies that we've put in the pockets of people under the NEP program. And because the NEP is fully funded by the CBI. Likewise, the HRK program. You know, when I started the HRK program in 2009, I didn't have all the money to run the program. We got a first amount from Mama Gaddafi of Libya. And you remember the Workers' Party said, oh, okay, Skerrit got money for Gaddafi for 1 year, and after that 1 year, no HRK. But I'm a God-fearing person. I'm a child of God. And I know that God has never forsaken me, and He'll never forsake me. And I know He'll always provide a way for Dominica. And I said that we will find a way of financing the HRK to provide care to the senior citizens of Dominica. And we started using in 2010 the proceeds from the CBI to finance the HRK program up until 2024, providing care to so many senior citizens across Dominica. And all of these programs are at risk if this virus were to be successful with their attempts on undermining Dominica. Because they really, you can equal them to COVID-19 or something. You understand? But we remain resolute and focused on what we have to do for Dominica. That's why we're here today to witness the signing of the construction of this wall. We have every confidence in the workmanship and the professionalism and the seriousness of the contractor. He has done a lot of work in Colihaut for us. And what I like about Monison is that Monison is not about how much money the project costs. It's not about how much it costs. Monison is one of the contractors in Dominica who always places his community and his country before self. Always. Monison will do work. If you are going to pay him, you'll pay him. If you don't have it now, you'll pay him when you have it. But he will never stop doing the work in a professional way. And we have to big up progressive people like that in the community and in the country. Never complains, never complains, never complains. Simple, but committed to the community and his country. And so I am very happy that he's the one who's getting the contract to do this. And whoever comes to Monison for a job, he'll always find a place to place you. So you can make a fortnight and get a fortnight work or a month work, so you can take some money back to your family. And so this is how contractors in the communities and the country must behave. They have to show gratitude. They have to show some appreciation and give back to the community. And I think And I think Monison has given more than he's received. You know, and Monison, I'm really happy. And I give you the assurance that the next one will be yours as well. Next one will be yours as well. And so our approach as far as possible is that when we come to communities, is to keep the money in the community. So when the money is the local contractor, he employs local people, the shops make money, the bars make money, the girlfriend and the wife, Joyce, make, most of the guys give the wife the whole paycheck and so on. I don't know, I don't make money. They make money and so on. And so the community benefits from the wall itself, but also the investment that we're making by way of the financial investment and so forth. So we continue. The next time I come back is to speak to you about housing. I'll come back very soon to talk to you about the Platinum Pier housing, where we'll be starting some homes in Platinum Pier for the residents of this constituency. So God bless you. I want to commend the PAREP, who has been diligent in ensuring that we get this world going, and I want to commend his commitment to the job. I have every trust and confidence in the PAREP. It has taken him a little time to move from being a banker to being a PAREP, but I think now he's getting the vibes of being a PAREP now, and not a banker and accounting and so forth. So I think now he in the groove now as a PAREP, you know. But I believe that we really appreciative of his sacrifice that he's made. You know, he left a very, very comfortable job in the bank, and his salary is less as a minister than it was as an employee of the National Bank. And he never looked back, and he has committed his entire being to this job of being a PAREP. All I believe we can do is to work with him and work with the government so that we can continue to bring these kinds of investments in the Colihaut constituency to benefit the residents of the Colihaut constituency. So I wish you all the best, and Pastor, the more you pray, the more blessings fall on us. So I urge you to continue to pray for us and to pray for the country. A pastor who I have the greatest love and respect for and appreciation for, always positive and constructive in the community. Thank you, Pastor, for your prayers. Again, I am happy to be here. We wanted to come here, to be here, so that we can celebrate this occasion. And once the Lord has blessed something, it will certainly come to pass, and the wall will be completed in quick time. Thank you very much.
We thank the Honorable Prime Minister for his address and of course for being with us here this afternoon. He's told us so much already about Mr. Monison Rudet, the contractor, and I'd like to invite him to come to the front so that we can undertake the signing of the contract. Mr. Rudet is joined by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Public Works, Mr. Emil Lancelot.
Yeah, this crew should.
Let's not finish with you, we're saying the rest now.
Everything done? Okay. Come in front of the camera. Fix your paper up. Right. Party boy walk. Party boy walk. I can get to this tomorrow.
Thank you to Mr. Rodette and to P.S. Lancelot. Certainly seems like you're well appreciated in the community, Mr. Rodette, and we congratulate you and wish you the best with the execution of your contract. I now invite Mr. Eli George. He tells me that he's a member of the community and he will now deliver a vote of thanks on your behalf.
Good afternoon, everyone. Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, the Honorable Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit, Honorable Fidel Grant, the Minister for Public Works and Digital Economy. We have the Honorable Darren Pinard, our Pal Rep, Minister of State in the Ministry of Labour, who has left me with less thanking to do because he did a very good job earlier on. We have other honorable members of Cabinet. We have Mr. Kareem Prevost, Secretary to the Cabinet. We have Mr. Emil Lancelot, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Public Works and Digital Economy. Other Permanent Secretaries. Mr. Monison Rodette, the Contractor. Ms. Wiesel Philogen, the Chairperson for the Colihaut Village Council. Our very own Pastor Edwards. Ms. Dion Durant-Smith, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. We listened to the parliamentary representative, or Parliament, and he was expressing how the office of Prime Minister can be demanding of one's time. But it's interesting that the Prime Minister is here with us. He's here today with us at this occasion. I think it's an indication of his commitment to us in the Colihaut area. A lot of times we hear about projects and some of us may not be aware of all the things that may happen to get to this point that we are right now. Ministry of Public Works, you have people who will come together, work together, spend time, energy, resources to get us to that point. Equally important is financing for those projects, like the Colihaut River Wall. And as Mr. Pinard stated, it's through our friends, the People's Republic of China, also reiterated by the Prime Minister. So we have quite a bit to be thankful for. To the Prime Minister, I say thank you, sir. This is happening in the tenure of our Pal Rep. I also want to thank him. We have the people in the Ministry of Public Works who played their part. We are very, very grateful and thankful. We have our contractor who have had the pleasure and the benefit of looking at the work that has already been done. And I must say, he has done some very good work for the community. I also want to take the opportunity to thank Pastor Edwards for leading us in prayer. As we can well imagine, we have to put God in everything. And like the Prime Minister said, if you continue praying, then we will get more blessings. So please continue to do that.
That we sure will do.
I also want to thank the chairperson of the Colihaut Village Council for her welcome and opening remarks. I also want to ensure that we make mention of, or I make mention on behalf of the people of the media, the people who cannot be here, both in Dominica and abroad. At least they get to realize and they get the opportunity to see what is going on in Colihaut. So we are very, very thankful for the media. We also want to thank the people who probably came, put the site together. We have the NEP as well who played their part today. So we want to thank them. I hope I'm not leaving anybody out. But I also want to thank the Colihaut people for their presence. This is for us. We have seen parts of the river wall being constructed, and now we're into a second phase or another phase. So we have to be very, very thankful. Like I said, they left me with not much work to do in terms of thanking. So thank you, and thank you. Good evening, everybody.
Of course, we thank Mr. Eli George for delivering the vote of thanks. I think you did very well, sir. Thank you very much. Yes, so this takes us to the end of our ceremony. Once again, we thank the Honorable Prime Minister and his colleagues for being with us, as well as the Ministry of Public Works for spearheading this event, and all of you who turned out on a Friday afternoon to celebrate this important occasion for your community. Thank you for being here. Have a fantastic weekend, everyone. Good afternoon.